of an MFL league.
This was
live.
So this was actually like in my.
This is live.
I'm gonna
Okay, I'll
tweet-
retweet.
I'll
Hi,
tweet the
everybody.
link.
Like, that's just like it's just a smidgen. It's
Hi,
like-
everybody.
It's like 30 or 80 or
My
something.
computer finally started back up
As
again.
far as you. look,
Okay,
it's
so
just-
I'm gonna stop that.
It's
We
amazing.
we're good on the sound, right?
And
As far as I know,
then,
Yeah.
the trees. You
Nah,
gotta start taking this-
wait a
you
minute.
You can't even tell. Like you can't like you.
I
can
don't
see
have
kind
that.
of
I'm
like-
not connected
they're
to
like-
the
they're
USB.
zooming. They're
Where is
everywhere.
that?
There's like 1, 2.
Oh, yeah, you
3,
are.
4, 5, 6, 7,
It does
8,
not
9,
say
10.
USB.
no, I know, but you're getting it from
Everywhere.
the USB.
Like what looks like leaves are crows. It was incredible.
Well, that's why I do crow
It's,
sound.
it's
If I do
not.
like
It says
tweets.
primary sound capture.
Are we on?
Yeah, dude, trust me. Record another sample.
Okay.
Are we on? No.
Yeah, this is on.
Okay, microphone.
Hello. But why? Usually it
hello,
says
hello.
USB.
It's I know, but I got all the. I set it up
Here?
different. But
Yeah, it's in. It's all good.
so talk to your microphone.
Hello.
Yeah, I mean, it's showing up.
Yeah, no, it's coming
You
in,
think it'll
and it
work?
plays back. So go ahead and play that back.
Yeah, test it out. Test it out. Check it.
What the hell happened to the USB input?
All I know is I sat and fucked with them settings, and it fucking works.
Okay.
I did. I recorded multiple things.
Okay.
And went up to each microphone and fucking recorded it, and it played
cool.
back and works. So it works.
I'm good with it. Here, let me tweet this. Oh, I tapped to airdrop to Scott.
Oh, do it, please.
That's cool.
Drop me stuff.
Suck a giant cock, all you motherfuckers.
Hey, what's going on? Why are you letting yourself?
Oh,
Second
I'm hearing it on here.
Man, the delay on
Freaky.
that's crazy. She sells seashells by the seashore.
Okay, I just tweeted that.
Does she?
How much wood a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Okay.
Oh, I can't retweet you dumbass.
Oh shit.
Let's see.
Why don't you?
I'm gonna hit reply and then in all caps.
Why'd you
Everybody
go
read
private
this
like
tweet.
like us cool guys?
It's a long story. I'll tell you later.
Well, no. We have a video here to
No,
talk about
no,
it.
no. I
No,
can't.
that's good.
Oh,
That's a good podcast.
That's,
I'm no.
Or are you saving it for the podcast?
Yeah, well, you got to judge it by the audio product. I'm sure Marcel would agree. All right, are you guys feeling ready to do this thing?
I am ready.
What's the thing called?
It's called sports.
Nice.
It's called the South Stands Denver
I love
Podcast.
sports.
Everybody's on. Mic's up. We're ready to rock.
What mic are you calling? You're number 3?
Hello.
Oh, you're this one.
Hello.
Okay, now I got you. Now I know. Okay.
You need to crank Marcelo to the fucking
Yeah, you're gonna have to since I'm a quiet talker.
And you get right up.
Well,
on
stop.
the
Talking quiet.
Well,
Well,
trying.
He's a quiet talker,
Check,
and I'm
check.
deaf, so I can't. I
What
can't
the-
hear.
That's a bad
It's a
combination.
bad
I
comment.
don't hear myself.
I can
Do
hear
guys-
you
Oh.
well though. So
Do you guys hear me?
yeah, I
Check.
Those are yours.
Sometimes I don't hear myself. Oh, there I go. Now I hear myself. All right. You're out loud. Got tonight. I need you. Okay, ready? Get ready to do this?
I'm ready. You ready?
I'm ready. Guys ready? Uh-oh.
Go.
Hold on a second. That was too loud. I had to get this. I said to get the sound, the height right. The last one was so loud. This one was not. Okay, now you ready?
Yeah.
Podcasting from the Sportique Studios, now seen in as many households via Comcast, This Network, and DirecTV as Altitude Sports. This is the South Stands Denver Fancast. I'm Colin Daniels with producer Scott Stafford, super fan and friend of the Fancast, Marcelo
That's a,
Durant. And your host, John. Woo! God damn.
Yeah. See me back at 2 o'clock.
Oh, it's going back up. Here we go.
Yeah, here
It's
we go.
coming loud. Here we go. Yeah. Woo! Yeah.
Oh, man. Woo!
Oh, yes.
That hurt
Yes.
my butthole.
The smooth metal of the sword.
Who messed up my board? My
I love
board's
it.
all messed up. Oh, that's
Wow.
Bronco Jeff.
Bronco
Jeff.
Jeff.
Bronco
Oh,
Jeff
God.
messed up my board.
Bronco Jeff's always sliding in here and screwing it all up. So
There
welcome to
you
the
go.
show, everybody. It's good to be back. South Stands Live. We're back. We're on YouTube. We're coming to you through your phone or whatnot, as always. And as part of the 10-year anniversary celebration, the celebration, if you will, we're gonna dive in. We're gonna dive into a little history. And our historian Marcelo is here, and he's going to help us remember some things because Colin and I don't remember any.
We don't remember much.
We don't remember a damn thing, but Marcelo does because he's a fan. He's been with us most of the time, and we appreciate his support. His unwavering support. Anytime anyone talks about a podcast, he always says that we were the originals, we were the best.
He always says her back.
He's always has our back, and we appreciate that, Marcelo. And welcome to the show.
yeah, thanks for having me on. It's great to be on here.
Is it a dream come true, or is it far fetched?
It's also Hispanic Heritage Month, so
Oh,
it's
is
a
it?
good time to have me on.
That's exactly why you're here. Colin said, "Hey, it's Hispanic Heritage Month. Who can we get on?" I said, "Well, look, Marcelo will come on."
Yeah, I guess
And I was like, that's a perfect choice.
It's a perfect choice. Although I think you said didn't you claim you're the worst Mexican?
Oh, I'm probably the worst Mexican in Denver.
No, what makes somebody a bad Mexican?
Well, not knowing Spanish probably. doesn't
Well, that's
help.
probably at the top of the
Yeah,
list.
not knowing Spanish.
Ketchup on a taco,
No,
probably a
no.
bad
I
thing.
can't roll my R's, so that's another bad. That's another bad thing.
So you can't say Marcelo.
No,
So you are from what I affectionately called Lohi. I think that is what is that where you're from? I think that's where you grew up in Lohi in Denver or Hi. I can't remember.
I never heard of Lohi, but I grew up on the north side.
John,
The
I
north
think,
side,
I think
yeah.
it's technically Slow High.
I think it's Lohi.
It's between Sloan's
It's
Lake
little-
and
Oh,
Low High.
okay.
Slow High.
So Marcelo grew up on the north side. And when he hears Slow High and that he wants to kill.
Yeah,
But you grew up over there. You're a Denver native. You've seen the changes. What
Yeah.
do you think it's a net positive, or do you think it's a negative overall?
I
What
think-
you've seen?
I think it's a negative overall. Like the dive bar I grew up in was torn down about a year ago.
Where was that at? What streets?
Pick's Corner on 32nd and Vallejo.
Okay.
I remember watching the
Do you hear him say Vallejo?
Yeah, so-
Yeah. He can't even
Yeah,
pronounce the
yeah.
words right.
Yeah, the only thing I can pronounce is Caesar. That's all I could do, and even then, that's bad. But I remember watching the drive there with my mom. She was drinking Bloody Marys at a Mexican dive bar
It's
during
awesome.
the drive. So that's my memory. Most other kids probably remember watching this, like the AC Championship game at that time, probably in their living room. But I had the chance to watch it in a dive bar. So
You probably remember when I had the little store at the corner there.
yeah, over there.
32nd and
Yeah,
Pecos. Yeah.
yeah.
It was a different time. We had the Horn Means Corn guy and the Popsicle guy. So the Popsicle guy had a bell, and the Corn guy had
Had
the
a
horn, and the horn meant corn. And you used to play basketball in
I
the
did.
court across the street.
Yeah,
that court's gone. Oh no, it's still there.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's still there. But right next to it is a gargantuan.
Condo, yeah. I used to hoop it up over there a lot, and now when I used to hang out over there, and then when I ultimately lived over there, a lot has changed. A lot, like now I'd be like, oh, that's pretty cool. There's the Prost breweries right there.
Yeah, they got that awesome food court right there.
Oh, do they?
What's that one called? Right by your old shop. What's
That's Avanti, which
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
Avanti, which was Avanti printing
Uh-huh.
back in those days.
Kept
We
it
had the best corner in the entire city of Denver. We did. That corner looked out at Coors Field across
Oh, it
the
was
20th
nice,
Street
yeah.
Viaduct. We looked down at Union Station, all across downtown. You could see Elitch's. You could see fucking Mile High from there.
But
at
you
the
can't now,
time.
though, right? Now
You
it's
can't
covered
see
in film.
anything anymore. That neighborhood has just been trashed, absolutely destroyed. And on behalf of all of us of white people, I apologize.
Thank you.
Yeah, he speaks for all white people. That's what he does. That's what he's been doing for years, for 10 years. And I bring that up because while we're down memory lane, we're gonna get into it a little bit with some memories. Marcelo's gonna throw some topics out that he recalls, and we can get into this in a little
Oh,
while.
that'd be fun.
And he's gonna
like
because
quiz shows.
yeah,
or-
well, you could maybe turn it into a quiz show. But I had asked him a couple weeks ago. I said, "Hey, what is some stuff that you remember that you could throw?" And he gave me a list of things, and I said, "Well, shit, maybe you just come on and throw it out." There's plenty of things we all remember, right? We all remember the Horn of Plenty. I mean, who could forget?
6-0.
6-0, yeah,
Hey!
exactly. There's things like that, but maybe he can jar our memories a little further. But we'll get into that in a little bit. But I think we should talk about our good friend Mike Peterson is watching. I'm assuming he's watching on here because
He's watching right there.
he's saying yeah, exactly. He's saying that I didn't hoop shit because I was talking about hooping a second ago. So he texted me and said,
Oh, I saw it. He
Yeah.
did.
Yeah,
Played
so
basketball.
I
I played
hooped,
basketball with him.
I hooped. Yeah, I did hoop. But we'll get into that. But what I wanted to kind of talk about is we've got a lot of things. I was going to wear my Avalanche hat and say the only team that hasn't let us down is what I was going to
You
do.
guys both have Nuggets.
I know I decided to wear my
Which is
Nuggets
nice.
hat today, and Colin usually wears his, but it's really a troubling time here in Denver because your Denver Broncos are 0-2, and I just need to know is this a lost season already, Colin?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
But didn't it start that way though? Did anyone have any expectations?
Yeah, we did the
You guys-
we did the
We did the thing, but
We
I
picked
had
them
him.
to make the play. Anyone pick the Broncos to make the play?
I had him 0-3 after Green Bay, so I'm kind
Okay.
of right on the money so far. Yes, it's
I
a
mean, like
lost season.
9-7, maybe.
No,
8,
I
9.
think it was
Well,
9 and
but
7.
that was the.
I had him as
the
I
ultimate-
picked 9-7 or maybe 8-8, and that's what I thought.
And
they
I'm
were
at 7-9.
But at best they could sneak into a wild card spot.
But it is.
There's no way.
0-2 is distressing because we all know the statistics they throw out there about the likelihood of an 0-2 team. The likelihood of an 0-3 team is apparently, I believe, 5% of them make the playoffs. So, yeah, if you consider not making the playoffs the definition of a lost season, then yes, this is without question a lost season and was from the get-go. The question isn't, is this season a lost season? The question is this a lost franchise
Ooh,
and
even better.
a rudderless franchise? And is one more losing season only?
But
the
hasn't
beginning.
it been for the last several years?
This would be
What's
this would be
changed?
3.
What's-
Nothing has changed.
Okay.
Well, I mean, Pat Bowen finally died, so maybe something
Right.
can change.
So
Now-
it is rudderless, and I think that. And if you look back, and everyone goes, "Well, shit, they just won the Super Bowl." What 4 years ago?
Is
whatever.
John
it was?
Elway the worst GM in the NFL?
He very well might be.
Yeah, see, that's what I don't know, and I can't figure out because all of a sudden he'll do something. You go, "Wow, that's pretty good. It's pretty good."
I feel like
plan."
Von Miller was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Right? Like, who else was he going to take? Right.
Cam Newton, if he was there,
If he was
but
there,
wasn't.
he would have. Right. But what else has he done? He brought in Peyton Manning, but it's like Manning was the guy who
That
brought
was,
in.
that was a unique thing that probably only John Elway
Sure.
could have gotten done.
and that was huge.
And I believe, and I wanted to get into this somewhere in the show, I thought it might be a little bit later, but we'll tackle it now because it's on the table. I think Elway needs to be directly involved, especially for the lack of a clear ownership picture. Once they hopefully, God, please sell the team. Please sell the team. I hate the Bowens. I hate them. I want to see this team go in a completely other direction ownership wise. At that point, you can talk about being rid of John Elway. But in the short term, I want to see him take more of a figurehead role and less of an active role and kind of lose maybe the general manager thing and kind of go for the
Yes.
face of the franchise thing.
Yes.
And maybe be the Dick Monfort of the Broncos.
Because he and like you said with Peyton Manning, he's the reason probably why they got him, and that's what he can do. He has that cachet where he can bring people in that are high profile. But here's what's happened: Vance Joseph stunk up the place for 2 years. The team just starts swirling the drain. They
Yep.
can't get anybody to come here.
And now
because-
you've got Garrett Bowles, who was a first-round pick, becoming Garrett Bowles in front of the nation's very eyes.
and nobody wants a part of that. So there has to be something there that Elway can sell them on. At the time, that just made a perfect match for Peyton Manning, and it obviously paid dividends. But Now they've lost that where they can't even get somebody to show up and go, hey, I'm gonna be a part of this.
So he needs to become essentially the John Elway of the John Elway auto ship dealers.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
He just needs to show his face.
He goes to celebrity golf tournaments. He goes to charity events. He represents the franchise, the organization. And from a fan's point of view, he ties everything together with the past and keeps the Broncos relevant. Because if the Broncos begin to become irrelevant, that's when Pat Bowlen would kick into high gear and get things taken care of and do dramatic things like firing Mike Shanahan. You're not going to see anybody that's currently involved with this organization, from Joe Ellis to John Elway or any of the rest of them, make bold and daring and courageous moves because nobody is in charge. Nobody's the owner. That's why I hope to see it sold. Because I don't want fucking Brittany, the inheritor, in charge of this franchise.
No. And I think that Elway needs to – Elway they actually probably need a GM. He can be a president, and then they could have a GM that is actually going to make some of the decisions that maybe he can weigh in on, and he can meet with free agents, whatever. What's his name?
Joe Ellis.
Joe Ellis needs to go.
Yeah.
That guy needs to get the fuck out of here.
And
Soon.
Joe Ellis is, as far as I'm concerned, is clinging to this opportunity and delaying the inevitable in order to continue drawing a salary, which, if I understand this correctly, he sets himself.
Must be nice.
What's Joe Ellis's motivation, if he indeed does set his own salary, to come to a final settlement place in this ownership struggle? He has none. So he is going to perpetuate all of this uncertainty that we have to deal with. And I agree with you, man. It'd be great to see him go. But he is in a position where he's the executor of that trust, along with Mary Kelly, and I can't remember the other guy's name. So there's like this triumvirate, and they have to decide whether one of Bolin's shitty kids is good enough to be the owner of the Broncos or whether they're going to sell the team. I would rather see that family fight over $2.6 billion than fight over the Broncos.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is now I just see them all like jockeying for position. And I'm like, they have no intention to sell this, but they absolutely should. They should sell it to some fucking dude that can get somebody else in here that knows what they're doing. Because right now, I think, and I know this is going to cause some problems, but I think they stumbled into that last Super Bowl win, and that's fantastic. I'll take it, but they kind of stumbled into it, and that's fine. But after that, it's been nothing but shit, and it's been this team's – and this comes back to the original point. They're awful. They're not going to be very good this year, and it's just going to bum everybody out. Is it going to change anytime soon? And I don't see it changing anytime soon. There's just nothing to it.
It takes 3 to 4 years to turn a team this bad around.
And when
It's a giant fucking ship that turns slowly in the water. It's not a sports car.
And when it comes to John Elway, who's going to tell John Elway to like just be the face of the franchise? There's nobody there to do that at all.
Well,
The only person that could do it would be Pat Bowlen. And
Sure, but they could say, John, here's a ton of money. You get to go fucking drink scotch at all the golf tournaments, and you get to take all the glory. And then when the hard questions come, you can just piss off and don't have to worry about it. I think he'd take that. He'd be like, yeah, cool. I don't have to sit there and listen to D-Mac fucking bust my balls. That's awesome. I think I'll take it. I don't know. I think he would, but
Just show him a pathway to the governorship, and he's in.
And I mean, if Ellis is concerned about his his paycheck, he's not going to do anything about it. And who's going to, like I said, who's going to say that to Elway? I don't see anyone else that could go in there and go.
And therein lies the problem: is there's nobody in charge.
So real quick, and when we can get into our first break here. Have you seen now? Granted, the Broncos is a religion here. You've seen it. You grew up in the Mexican dive bar watching the Broncos. People of all races, all creeds, everything. Everybody loves the Denver Broncos here.
Oh, especially Mexicans.
Mexicans
Mexicans fucking love the Broncos.
They are
dude.
diehard Broncos fans, and I love them for it. Have you ever seen it this more like people just going like, fuck, I don't know. I mean, there's been ups and downs, sure, through the years, but every year people would be like, fucking Broncos, man. Yeah, this is it. This is the first time, maybe this now and maybe the last 2 years, where I see people just going like, fuck, I see no way. I just can't get excited about it. I'm just done with it. Is this the lowest it's been?
I think so. I mean, right now, I'm looking at the Green Bay game. I probably won't even watch it live. I'll just have it on Red Zone because it's not going to be worth watching unless some sort of miracle happens.
I'm probably going to be watching Red Zone too
You're
because it's on with 8 other games in that 11 o'clock
You're
time.
just going to see Aaron Rodgers fucking
Yeah.
throwing touchdowns, and that's it. So
So when does Mile High Stadium turn into Coors Field?
So that's a good tease. Do you want to go to break or tackle this one now?
we probably need to go to break.
Because that was a really professional
That's-
104.3
I
The
know.
Fan style. That's a great question, Scott, and we're going to talk about that after the break.
Wow. Well, that's really good. Shit. That's pretty good. I like
Okay,
that.
All right.
Well, let's take that first break, everybody, and we'll get right back into it right after this.
It's all right.
You're all I got tonight. You're all I got tonight. You're all I got tonight. I need you. Tonight.
I need juice tonight.
That's a jam.
That song's badass.
All right.
Except for the
Let me
line,
say this.
you can brush your rock and roll hair. I've always, what the fuck's rock and roll hair?
I was planning on just playing nothing but Daniel Johnston tonight, and then Rico Kasich goes and dies. So got to throw one in.
Yes.
I need you.
Tonight. How?
And then Ken Burns came out with her 10-part country music documentary.
Yeah, I'd like to watch that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's coming out.
No, it's
Is it
on.
already out?
No, it's
Yeah.
on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, right on PBS. Online
Nice.
to watch 4
I'll check
episodes.
that out.
So
I love that old stuff, you know? The
I love the old country.
Yeah. Me too.
So
Family and all that.
So Mike,
Fun.
Mike was insulting me via text, so I sent him the picture of us flipping him off,
Yeah.
and he flipped us off.
Oh, really? Did he?
But then he said, "Actually, a great photo."
Okay.
So,
That's all fun.
so Mike, I hope you enjoy it. Let's see.
but yeah, I think my mom and my grandma were bigger Bronco fans than I am right now because I can care less practically right now about the Broncos.
It's
just sad.
Care less. But that's just what it is. To me, like I love sports and so forth, but
And the reality of the NFL.
when you got stuff to
affected you
do,
too much.
and do I want to spend the next 3 hours being disappointed? watching
See,
it?
I had to get over that hump, and now I just don't care really. I still enjoy watching football, but I'm more tied into my fantasy teams and how they're doing, and like with the Broncos, like I just watch them on Red Zone because there's no reason to watch through a game. I'm like, why would I sit through commercials? Why would I sit through the boring play
And what player could you possibly like want to have on your team?
on the Broncos?
Yeah.
I don't know, fucking.
If you took
Lindsey.
Philip Lindsay, you took him way too high.
Oh yeah, everybody who took Lindsey took him way too
The
high.
Broncos defense.
All those,
In the first round.
defense. Captain Bronco, that lovely idiot.
Oh my god.
Greg Kennigan had the first pick in our draft. We straight up, no waiting, grabbed it home from Mahomes.
I mean, it's
Everybody laughed at him.
well,
Looking good now.
he was
scorer
first
in fantasy.
pick.
First pick overall.
So but that's smart because he knew he wouldn't get him. Now, if you were like picking, 10th or something, then maybe you think, well, I'll take so and so, and then I can catch him on the back. But I think Snyder took him in ours, didn't he? He took him. He took him right on. But he was like he was the 12th pick.
But the quarterback scores so
12
high.
pick. That's perfect.
Yeah, he
That's
took
right about where
him,
he
but then he
goes.
took Tyreek Hill with his next right after.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
work
I
out
It's
so
not
good.
brilliant now.
I took a bunch of shitty running backs in the first 2 rounds. So Connor and somebody else.
Okay, so we've got to do a read.
Yes.
You're all I got
Questions.
tonight.
Then we got the questions.
Question.
When do we want to bring Scoop in?
halftime, I think.
Yeah.
No, because he likes to yell sports.
Oh yeah, that is halftime.
So before halftime.
Yeah, well, in halftime, then he'll yell sports. So.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah. That
when
sports
what
is
do
at
you
half-
want to give him? Like 5 minutes left in the thing?
There you go. We'll call him up.
Okay.
Well, we'll just do it as a segue or as a
Yeah.
like we insert a read. We'll just do it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, I like that.
And now let's catch up with Brian Scoop Nemeth. Brian, what's
Yeah.
going on, man?
So wait, so
Between
we
the
gotta
breaks.
stop it?
Yeah, it's after we're done with the second quarter.
Because I got to call him.
Oh, okay. So you want to get out of the quarter.
Yeah, do it like
And then we'll
insert
stop.
him. Yeah.
And then you'll start and say blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah, and then
Sports.
and then we'll
Yeah.
do it. Okay, so but I'll stop about 5 minutes early,
Okay.
or whatever. It just depends on what's going on. So,
Yeah.
okay, I'm ready to go.
All right. Read them questions.
You all I've got tonight.
I need you
Yeah, how much are these?
tonight.
$3.
$3.
Yeah, could I just order them on fucking like?
Or
Amazon.
like 10 for.
Because like we have one in our
$18.
house and it's gone and no one knows where it is.
I think I ordered like 20 at some
Yeah.
point in time. So they're just randomly all around that.
That's what I had. It's like my reading glasses. I have to throw them all around the house so I can fucking see anything.
Yeah, it's just they're so cheap.
Okay.
Yeah, go to Amazon. They may be like $1.80 each, $2 each, something like that in bulk.
I just need a couple just to throw around.
This one, I need like a different one now. So so many dongles.
No, because I had to take another truck.
A life full of dongles.
I had to take this other truck to take it somewhere, and I couldn't. And the Bluetooth is really hard to figure out, and it didn't have like just an input thing, and it had like a cord, and I was like, so I couldn't figure out. So I had to drive all the way from Aurora to the other side of town like this, listening to a podcast.
Yeah.
Just drive, I had it up to my
Oh,
ear.
good Lord.
Yeah, it was fucking primitive as shit. It's awful.
You drive a lot, huh?
I drive quite a bit.
Yeah.
I get to listen to a lot of good stuff though.
Hello, is it me you're looking for?
See, that's the thing. If you're listening to good stuff, you got podcasts, you got satellite radio. Fuck yeah, man! To put me on the road, I don't mind. All
You
right,
should
guys.
listen to nothing but truck driving music.
There's that. You can watch Willie's Roadhouse, man. It's a great channel.
You know, just can't wait to get
8
on.
days
All
of-
right, you ready? You guys know what you're doing?
Yeah, read
Yeah,
and then the question.
Are you ready?
you know it.
SouthStandsDenver.com and the South Stands Denver Fancast are proud to be supported by Mark Rycroft's Sobo Liquors, right there north of Evans on South Broadway. Wonderful drive-through, a wonderful selection of wines, spirits, and microbrews. And most importantly, they're a supporter of the show. You can't see Mark on TV, so you might as well go say hi to him at Sobo Liquors. And when you do, please tell them the South Stands sent you. Does Garrett Bowles' pregame Get Pumped playlist include tunes like Hold Me Now, Hold On for One More Day, You've Really Got to Hold On Me, and Hold On Tightly? Is Bowles a member of the Church of Jesus fucking Christ of Latter-day Saints? Did Joe Ellis do the deal with Empower because he's been empowered to steal the Broncos blind? If Brittany Boland takes over control of the team, will she change the O's in Broncos to little hearts? At her wedding last weekend, how many of Brittany's brides were Pat's mistresses? Ooh. Has Altitude TV considered the UHF dial? Remember the UHF dial? It was a thing.
Yeah.
If the Colorado Avalanche gets shut out 5-0 versus the Vegas Golden Knights and nobody sees it, did it really happen? If AT&T Sportsnet took over Avalanche coverage, would Drew Goodman be constantly screaming, "He shoots, he scores!" followed by, "Wow, I really thought that was a goal"? At intermissions, will Jenny Kavnar shout, "Fire up the Zamboni"? Will Mark Stout still just be creepy? When Rockies players watch Broncos games, are they like, "Man, these guys suck"? Will Dick Monfort hang a commemorative banner in Coors Field reading 2019, not the worst season in franchise history? Is Guy Incognito Marcelo Duran's Twitter handle? Or is it actually Tom Nayland's burner? Ooh. Can the 3 big cable outlets block my Broncos instead? You have questions. We have answers. SouthStandsDenver.com, Colorado's finest internet sports talk since 1971.
Love this song. Well, we lost the great Daniel Johnston last week.
Is this his song?
Yeah,
I thought this was a Built to Spill song.
they covered it. It's a Daniel Johnston song.
Wow. Well, you learn something new every day.
So is this a
Yeah.
tribute to Peyton Manning?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
So we heard some Rick Ocasek, right? Because he passed. But the great Daniel Johnston passed.
Last lifetime. Yeah, we're missing Peyton Manning to this song.
Oh, why? Why did you have to leave us? Was Brock Osweiler?
Wow, I had no idea. I thought this was a Built to Spill song.
Mm. They do on the normal years.
Yeah. So that would make sense.
Yep.
Yeah, your
This is really
pictures-
fucking depressing, dude.
It really is. Yeah.
I'm gonna cut
He
myself.
had some of the most beautiful, most haunting songs.
It's beautiful and haunting, and I'm gonna cut myself.
I saw him in concert here in Denver.
Did you?
He was at the 15th Street Tavern.
Oh, what a
Daniel
shithole!
Johnston.
God. Remember the 15th Street
That is-
Tavern when you could still smoke indoors?
That is Denver's original
Oh
shithole.
man,
One of Denver's original
the
shitholes.
whole place smelled like piss.
And remember the bathrooms?
Oh.
They were like-
Oh, dude. I try not to. I would fucking piss in the alley before I went to the bathroom.
Everybody wins.
I mean, there'd be no doors on the stalls and
Oh yeah.
no toilet seats, just nothing. But you know who opened up for Daniel Johnston at the 15th Street Tavern? You ready
Who?
for this one?
No.
Harvey Sid Fisher.
Wow. Okay. That's some of that.
That's quite the bill.
That's
I'm
quite the
telling
double
you,
bill.
It's quite the bill for sure.
I just started thinking of all the horrible bathrooms I've been in over the years in these.
But nothing
terrible
was
bars.
worse than the 15th
That
Street
was
Tavern.
pretty
That
bad.
was
No,
the
you-
worst one.
no.
That was the worst.
No,
one.
hold on though. The Streets of London bathroom is pretty fucking terrible. It's pretty bad.
Surely nothing.
I
was
don't
bad
think
as
it's
15th
15th Street
That
Tavern
was
bad.
the
I think they
worst.
actually have toilet
Here.
seats at Streets of London.
They did.
Yeah, that place does remain a shithole.
It is shitty. Yeah.
And the 15th, like no one even wanted to go in the toilets, so it
Oh.
was just urine and feces everywhere.
You know what it reminds me? You know that picture that people post where it's the dude? He's like got his hands up and he's pushing the stall door with his feet and he's shitting. You know that picture?
Yeah.
So that's what that reminds me of. That's what was going on in those places. I got a shit
I miss
story
it.
for you. I've never shared this one, and this involves Marcelo. you're
We're
in-
making history here
Yeah,
tonight.
Marcelo, you're in for a
All
treat.
right.
My girl house,
No,
right?
I remember I went to Streets of London. We used to hang out there quite a bit and throw darts and stuff. And I don't know if it was all I had to eat or something, but it was like a big block of like habanero cheddar. And I was wolfing it down, right? I wolfed it down. I probably drank some coffee.
Hot cheese.
Hot cheese. And then I
Hot
went.
cheese and coffee.
And
I think that was a Tom Waits album.
Yeah, it was hot cheese and coffee. It's recorded in New York in 1977. And I ate all this stuff. I probably drank coffee. I drank a bunch of beer, and I had to fucking shit so bad. And I was at Streets of London.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's terrible.
God,
I
dude.
think I ended up doing like a little hover over the thing. Like I kind of did this because I didn't want my ass cheeks to touch it, and I just blew ass all over the place. It was so gnarly.
Do you guys follow Rex Chapman on Twitter? Rex Chapman.
I see his stuff all the time. Yeah.
So he had this one. It's really good. He just posts just crazy videos. But he had one recently where a woman at a grocery store just kind of goes around the aisle, squats down, just blows ass, and then just puts her pants back on and goes. And
Well, speaking of,
that's
it.
it.
And see, that's one of my favorite things. Sorry, Colin.
you love blowing
Well,
it.
no, I was just saying one of my favorite things about the podcast is the fan cast is shit stories in Denver history because you guys are a little bit older than I am, so you have a different view of Denver from
And shit. We have a different view of shit
yeah,
too.
shit in Denver,
That's
yes.
We've done it more, you know.
Well, speaking
More
of shit,
experience.
speaking of shit in Denver, we teased before the break that we were going to talk about Mile High becoming the new Coors Field. I saw a lot of commentary from people as they were arriving for the tailgates this last Sunday for the home opener against the Chicago Bears. That people could not believe how many Chicago Bears fans were at Mile High, and we always talked about it in the early days of the show that happens at Pepsi Center. That happens at Coors Field. You go to a game with the Cardinals or the Cubs or the Dodgers or the Yankees at Coors Field, you expect that. You know that's going to be the case. Let's go Dodgers. It's going to be fucking permeating your brain, right? And even at Pepsi Center, Minnesota Wild fans are there. Minnesota Timberwolves fans are there. Lakers fans are there. Fuck the Golden State Warriors fans who are there because they're all a bunch of fucking cock-riding assholes. But they're there, and you just kind of get used to it. But it's always been the case that the one facility here in the Denver market that's immune to it is Mile High. And it's just a Broncos fan locked down. They've got it locked down. It's not happening anymore, guys. And when teams like the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Chicago Bears come here, and even the Kansas City Chiefs, a lot of Broncos fans are selling their tickets. And this is something that didn't happen when Pat Bowlen was not only still alive, but still cognizant, because the first thing that he would react to is seeing a lack of fan interest. That would really piss him off. And if you look at his history of his moves, it was when people started losing interest that he would shake things up. Now they're allowing it to creep in, and the transplants are creeping in. And now Mile High is turning into the new Coors Field.
I've been to Raiders games there, and there was definitely Raiders fans, but they were outnumbered. They were definitely outnumbered. And now I don't think that'd be the case. And what's happened is we've had a couple years. We had a big high with the Super Bowl win, but then we had some lows because everyone went, what the fuck did they do hiring this guy Vance Joseph? The team went in the crapper. Nobody thinks it wasn't like this season. Everyone went, you know what? They're gonna really push the Chiefs this year. No one said that. No one said, oh, they're gonna really push the Chiefs and they're gonna be really good. So as soon as they lost that first game, everyone was like, nah, all right, they suck. They really suck, and then we're not gonna go. So this game comes and nobody's gonna be there.
I think there's something more to it though.
Well,
that we're so hospitable toward people.
Well, no,
that's part of the problem. They know they're not going to get fucked.
That's true. That's true in Coors Field because it's very nice and civil, but not at Mile High. It's always a place where you're going to get your ass kicked if you start talking shit. And I've seen tons of fights there, and because somebody mouthed off, and because Bronco fans rule the place. But because we've had several years of mediocrity, and most smart people have gone, you know what? This isn't changing anytime soon. So why the fuck should I go? Why would I go down there? Why don't I sell my tickets to Bears fans? Because I'm just going to watch them lose, and they don't care. And that's understandable. But that's what's happened over the course of the last 3 years.
It's also a matter of gentrification too, though, because people like the people that Marcelo grew up around went to Mile High Stadium.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they don't anymore because they can't fucking afford to.
Yep.
Because it costs so much fucking money to go there. So if you're a blue collar dude who works in a fucking glue factory or whatever the fuck you do, you just can't justify the money. And besides which, you had to move out of North Denver to Commerce fucking City because it's fucking low high now. So those people can't go there anymore. And I think that's part of the problem. It's the hardest core, most blue collar fans who are going to make it an unwelcoming environment for Chicago Bears fans are no longer there. It's guys like you and me, people with a fucking minivan and fucking 1.5 mortgages and 3.5 kids.
But
I'm sorry.
I was going to say that's true. But also imagine someone who is having trouble putting some money together, who has season tickets for decades of their family, and now all of a sudden they can get $300-400 a pop for their tickets from a Bears fan, and they suck. They're going to do that too. I mean, it's so many things.
There's so many things, but and I agree with that. That's part of it because a lot of people were priced out of it. But if they were good and they had the promise of being good, people would be there and they would be like, "Hey, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of the whole crowd." And everybody fucking knows they're going to suck and they're going to suck for a while. And so they don't. Why bother? Why bother?
I have Rocky season tickets, and I've not gone to a game. I haven't probably been to the last 20 games. And
when you bought those Rocky season tickets, you had a fucking hard on because you thought that we were looking at a team on the upswing.
No doubt.
Yep.
No doubt. And it's a drag. It sucks to go to all these games. You be constantly disappointed. See Brian Shaw give up 6 runs every damn inning he pitches in. It's a drag.
Now that's
total drag.
The difference is the Rockies could be decent again next year.
You're
They
right.
could easily
could.
be decent again next
They got
year.
a bunch of
I
young
don't
guys that
see
might
the
have-
Broncos being good for several years.
Now they're going to have to draft a quarterback and start fresh.
They're going to have to do something. They're not. They have Chris Harris on like a one-year deal. He's going to be traded by
He's
the end of
gone.
the season. Yeah, he's going to be traded. They're going to trade him because they'll be like, well, we got him on a 1-year deal. Let's get something for him. This season's fucking over. He's gone, which totally sucks because he's one of their best players. This team is fucked for a while, and why would you go and sit there? I had Rockies tickets, and I didn't go because I just didn't want to sit there, watch them lose, and go spend fucking $40 on beer. And I was just like,
that's the other thing.
I was
too.
like, I can sit at home and I can have a couple drinks and don't have to.
And
leave
yet
my
the Rockies
fucking
are
couch.
5th in fucking attendance.
I-
How does that happen?
Because people love it. I get it.
It's an event to go to a game.
It's
a social event.
And people love it. It's a beautiful ballpark. The weather's great. Why not?
I bought all my tickets back in March for every single game, right? I mean, a lot of people did. So they get a lot of attendance, and they have a lot of fans. They have Cubs fans. They have Reds fans. They have Red Sox fans. It's half the stadium is the other team.
Well, right down the street is the Blake Street Tavern. And if you hear their ad on the radio, they say, we've got watch groups for the Philadelphia Eagles, the New England Patriots, the Boston Red Sox. New
We'll
York
suck
Yankees.
anyone's dick over here. Come on down. No, but all these teams except for the Broncos have a glimpse of promise. Even the Rockies. I think the Rockies, if they get their shit together, could very well be back in the mix.
And by shit together, you mean some fucking pitchers.
Yeah, exactly.
Which also means I'm definitely going to the Brewers series because I would like to see the last series of Charlie Blackmon in a Rockies uniform.
There you go.
Because
You
that's-
see, say goodbye to Charlie Black.
He's totally gone. I mean, they need
He's
pitching.
totally gone.
There's not. He's the only sellable piece on that team.
What
That's
about, Ian Desmond?
it.
Anyway, we
What
talk
about
about Rockies
Nolan
later.
Arenado?
Well, listen, we got to get into the second half, and we're gonna
Already?
have a
Jeez.
and we're gonna have a little interlude.
Interlude, yeah. Good. Way to forecast. Way to
Sorry,
foreshadow.
Sorry, everybody,
Brilliant.
that's later in the show. A little interlude with Scoop Nemeth, and so we're gonna get into that. But very fascinating topic, and it all just comes back to the whole central point that if they suck and no one sees a future in it, then no one's gonna fucking show up.
Man, that Bears game was horrible.
Oh,
Holy
my
shit. I mean, you
Yeah.
talk about fucking snapping victory from the jaws of defeat and then spitting it out on the floor and watching it die.
I was getting ready to play a hockey game, and they have a TV there, and I went out and I was watching the game, and I was like, oh, they're dead in the water or whatever. And then someone came in and they said, oh, hey, they just fucking
They just won.
They said they go, oh, they missed the field goal. And I go, but then they did the 2-point, and then they took the lead. And I said, oh, that's great. So I get up and I'm getting ready. I got all my stuff on. I'm getting ready to go play it. I go watch it again. And I look and I go, oh, they just lost. And I went back and I said, oh, they just lost. And everyone's like, no fucking way.
Dude, the ending of that game was such that after everything that happened for like the last minute and a half, there was some sort of long interruption to the game. So after the Bears scored that field goal and won, I'm just waiting for it. Like, for what reason are they going to take this score off the board?
Oh,
It was just insane.
For 3 hours, I thought the Broncos won because I was in an airport in San Francisco. We're boarding the flight, and I go, "Oh, look at that! They scored!
They took the
Oh my
lead.
God! It's like 11 seconds left or something. Broncos won. How about that?
There were 9 seconds
Yeah.
How
left.
about that? That's amazing.
There were.
And then,
They had 4th and 15 with 8 seconds
it might have
left.
been 4 hours later when I learned that they actually lost.
that sucks. That sucks ass.
Hey, I got a song, and guess what?
Okay.
This is also a Daniel Johnson song, and you're going to think it's another band.
Okay, I'm ready. Well, let's take a quick break, and then we'll get back with some scoop.
Do you know it? Fire hose?
What is it?
Fire hose?
No,
Like what?
don't know.
Were you a fire hose guy?
I like fire hose. Yeah.
I thought you might have been a fire hose guy. Either people were way into it or
No, I like
Nuts.
fire hose. Fire hose is good. I just don't recognize it because theirs was probably faster, right? Are you going to call it scoop?
Yes.
So we'll just stop and then get him on the phone, and then we'll start up and just say now.
let's check in with Brian Studio.
I thought at first this sounded like Beast of Burden, and I was like, "This is not a fucking Stone song. What the fuck?"
There's a good old buzz coming through this word.
Is there?
Yeah, that's okay.
I'll never be a beast of burden.
Walking the cow. Walking the cow.
Well, the last game I went to was the 49ers when they played a preseason game, and that was by accident. Because we were trying to get those stupid half-price tickets,
Yeah.
and my wife, because I couldn't get them at work, and my wife called me like half an hour later. She got tickets for the Broncos for a game, and then she mentioned what game it was. It's like, yeah, that's a preseason game. So that was a shitty one.
And I don't understand why people go to preseason games.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone except she bought
Like
it.
I understand they gotta charge you something to walk in the door to keep the lights on, but like charging regular price, they should be like
for like game one.
they should be like half price tickets, and they should have like fucking half price beer, and just fucking. And that's if a team's bad, like when the Avs were super bad a couple years ago, they should have slashed, maybe not even slashed ticket prices, but at least like been like, hey, the fucking beer's $4. Come on in. Fucking come on in. You can buy your ticket and then fucking get drunk like you would like at a normal place.
But see, well,
At least for the Rockies,
they could
have-
charge full price because it's all season ticket holders.
True.
At least for the Rockies, they have very like variable ticket prices, so you don't have to.
Yeah, you can
show
get in there
yourself.
cheap for sure.
Because you have to get drunk before you go in.
I guess that's it. It's still expensive though. I mean, if you want good seats,
Yeah.
they're still pricey. And I'm like, the tickets that I bought, I mean, they're like, I don't know, $48 tickets
Yeah.
essentially, right? I'm thrilled if I can sell them for like $16 now. So if you want good seats to Rockies games, you can get them. Just go there last second, get your phone out, and get seats at a third of the price. Taking them out. So I don't know. Like I don't know if I keep my Rockies tickets next year.
No. Here's the thing. So like, they're gonna be fine. Like
Yeah.
I think they had just a bunch of fucking horrible shit happen that just they thought all these pitchers were gonna be good. They were not. If those guys get their shit together, they'll be totally fine.
If this wasn't on right now, I'll tell you a really good story about Jeff Bridich.
Oh really?
So later.
Well, tell me after. Yeah.
Sorry, we're so late, bud. So
Um.
I'm going to get you
Shoot
plugged
the
into the board.
Just he's a
I'm going to
sucks.
Oh,
ask
he totally
you
sucks. He should be.
a couple
He's a
of
bad guy.
questions about
He should be fired.
sports,
Bad guy.
and then
Fucking
I'm
be
going
gone.
to ask you about your erotic
So my
short
sister was like,
stories,
oh, I think I'm gonna go down to 2 tickets.
and you can kind of give a little explanation
They're gonna
about
get back
that,
into
and then I
They
can
get
ask,
back into
and then
it.
I'll ask you for an
This would be the
outtake
time
when
to
you read
upgrade.
your
You know,
outtake.
definitely
Sure.
could probably get up.
But she was
All
all
right, y'all
pissed
good?
because she hadn't been all season.
All right, I'm
She
gonna have
went,
Scott
and the
Stafford,
new Nets were
producer
like in
Scott
the
Stafford,
sideline,
plug
and
into
she
the
was all
board now.
mad. And so she was like gonna
All
try
right,
to
here we
move
go.
down. I said, well, if you can move down, fuck yeah.
Move down out of club level.
No, just down to the because we're like 3 rows off the edge.
You got a good spot there.
All right, let's see if we hear Scoop.
That's news to me.
You didn't know I was on
Yeah,
club
I didn't
level?
know that at
Did
all.
you guys know I was on club level? Oh, you didn't?
I heard something about that.
Oh shit.
I think back to the episodes I listened, if I did a drinking game for that, I'd probably die of alcohol poisoning.
Oh, that would be. A good
All right,
one.
Scott, let's bring this up and see if we hear Brian.
Okay. Un momento, por favor.
And then
Scott's
let me know.
Is
His
that
headphones
good
on.
Spanish? Un momento, por
I have no
favor.
idea. What
That's
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
That's good.
I speak Spanish better than anyone in this room. I'm guessing.
Yeah, yes. I'm still taking Duolingo, so.
Did I ever tell you about the time John Kerry went to Pueblo to do a speech when he was running for president?
I'm
I
sure.
gotta see if you hear Brian. So you
I'm sure
there?
that one-
Scoop, you there, buddy? Nice. How are you?
All right.
Nice. Bloopity bloop bloop.
Nice.
Ah,
You're
that's
sounding
good.
good.
That's
buddy.
good
Peter
stuff.
Piper. Peter
12
Piper
maybe?
picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of
All right.
A Peter Pepper,
Are you
Peter
ready
Pepper.
to do it? Are you ready to do it?
How does
Okay.
that song go?
peppers. Everybody ready?
Are you ready? Is the mic's up? Okay, I'm going to give you the signal and you start talking. You ready?
Yep. It's time, everybody, to check in with our good friend, Brian Scoop Nemeth. Brian, how have you been?
Excellent.
I understand that you've attended some sporting events lately and that you're very heavily engaged in the Denver sports scene.
I have. I've been to the Colorado Rockies game last Sunday, and I wore that South Stands Denver T-shirt.
That was awesome.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
That's awesome.
I appreciate the photo.
Did anyone talk to you about it?
No, nobody talked to me about it.
Oh, I gotta be. Yeah, you heard me. Yeah. Oh, you didn't hear me. Okay.
Oh, they can't.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So, Brian, you've watched the first couple of games. We were just talking about your Denver Broncos. What are your early impressions of the team, and do you think it's a lost season?
I think it's a lost season, and the Broncos aren't going nowhere because the offense is their weak strength. Despite the fact that we got a pretty powerful defense, the Broncos offense, not so much.
Yeah, I think we can agree on that, Brian. Now, we love to talk sports with you, and we often do, and we really appreciate your input on the fan cast. But also, we know that you have a tender side, and that you are a writer, and that your passion is for erotic short stories. And so I thought I would give you the opportunity to share with us an outtake from one of them. Have you chosen a selection you'd like to share with our listeners?
Fatal love affair. Dictator billionaire husband Saeed holds wild child cougar wife Joan prisoner in her own home. Always away, Saeed is always away from home on business. Joan is left lonely. So what does she do to pass the time? She looks outside to see what she sees. A hunky gardener and housekeeper named Michael, who is employed by Saeed. And she invites him in for some tasty brownies and some good grub. Next, they get to know each other. Next thing you know, they start falling in love. They start going out together. Then next thing you know, they start getting it on. Hot sex in the shower. Michael going down on Joan. Oh, yeah. Oh. And in the bedroom, Michael gives Joan an orgasm so loud it wakes all the neighbors up.
Holy smokes.
Then Saeed comes home, unbeknownst to him, without his knowledge. Something goes on upstairs in the bedroom. Then he finds that Joan is cheating on her dictator husband, Saeed, with that housekeeper, Michael. And then he starts, "You motherfucker! I'm your dead motherfucker!" He breaks out his sword, slices Michael's head off, and then kills his wife, Joan.
Wow. Brian,
Hear what's going on.
it is amazing that you are doing this incredible stuff. And I really wish more people had access to it. I have a collection of your short stories, and I just think they're great. And we got to talk more about how you can get that stuff out there for the public. But in the meanwhile, where can we find you on social media?
You can normally find me where I'm talking about my clothing line at my scoop at facebook.com/superwomandesigns. It's one word, not three.
Great. You are such a faceted guy. You've got so many irons in the fire. It's great speaking to you. There's one last thing I'd like to get from you, Brian, and that is if you could just lead us out with some sports. Sports!
All right. Thanks, Scoop. That was awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian. That was your best work yet, buddy.
Woo.
All righty, buddy.
Right there.
Okay, you ready for sports?
Yeah, I'm like ready for sports.
There you go. There you go. That's what it's all about, buddy. All right, man. I'm gonna let you go, and we'll have this thing up sometime before midnight, I imagine. All righty, bud. Take it easy, bud.
I'm gonna take a piss real quick. Oh my god.
Wait, now the guy was he was the gardener, and then he was the housekeeper.
I think he
What
got
happened?
killed.
And then
He got
he
sword.
his lover got killed with a sword. So
That went so many different directions.
So, Marcelo, let me ask you in all sincerity. From a moralistic point of view, when it comes to dealing with Scoop, we've had our moments over the years where we thought we're
Exploiting.
exploiting him.
Well, I think you're being respectful just to some degree. It isn't like you're just like making him.
And he wants the attention, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's
I mean,
good.
I'm not the best judge of character because like there's a show called The Good Doctor. It's on ABC. It's about a teenage prodigy or doctor who is autistic, and like whenever he talks, I laugh. That's not a good thing. Because every single time he talks on the show, I just laugh my ass off, and that's not a good thing. But I mean, I don't. But the thing about autism is that are they really offended by it because they don't really see that?
That's it.
Yeah.
He doesn't realize he's being laughed at.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that I think it's artistic, and I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of outsider art, and that's what it is in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's outsider
Yeah.
art.
And
Right, Colin, where are you going
I
on
mean,
this map?
I mean, I don't think he's completely the butt of the joke.
Well,
But I mean,
we're landing in London, and then
Yeah.
we're going to. Yeah, we're landing in London, and then
How many days in London?
3.
Well, that's nice.
And then we're going from London to northern Italy.
Milan?
No, we're landing in Genoa.
Okay.
And then and then we're going to go southbound through Italy, ending in Naples, flying from Naples.
Are you gonna stop in
Paris.
Rome at all, or not?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep.
Oh, so you're gonna do the Cinque Terre then?
Yeah, that's where we were very.
are you taking the Coliseum and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, we're gonna have my daughter with us, but not my son. 'Cause my son got a fat job with Janice Henderson,
Oh wow.
straight out of high school at age 18,
That's cool.
with a salary and benefits.
Nice. Good for him.
It's weird. It doesn't make any sense. And it kind of bugs me because he didn't try hard enough to get it. They just liked him.
Wait, I'll get a copy.
Yeah.
Good
They have a
good
program.
timing is something.
They have a program. Janice Henderson has 2,000 employees in Cherry Creek. 2,000.
Yeah.
And they have a program for children who decided not to go to college.
Hmm.
And he was one of 285 applicants for 14 jobs, and they hired him.
Wow.
That's cool.
He's going to be making videos in a company TV studio, internal and external communication and training.
That's awesome.
It's fucking stupid.
So I don't know what you answered about that with Scoop. It's kind of like the Howard Stern thing, because he's got on a bunch of people who are like fucking like actually mentally deficient, and he's got a bunch of crazy people, and they're definitely being made fun of, but they're a part of it. And I always had an issue because I was like, I don't want people to think we're making fun
Yeah.
of Scoop, but it's funny as fuck.
Well, I mean, he's being inadvertently funny if
He's being really funny, and
Yeah.
it's fun, but I just don't know if he's actually.
Well, I think he is funny. And
He is funny, but-
I take it like my love for Daniel Johnston is it's
well, like what I tell
outsider art and Wesley Willis and people like that.
And like my tolerance of being offensive is kind of high. I don't really get offended by a lot of things, and I've tossed it. I've like stumbled into controversies of my own on Twitter, like Cuttergate. That was a bad one.
What?
Well, like when the Broncos lost to the Patriots years ago,
Oh,
and I was drunk tweeting about it. I said something about what amount of effort does it take to be a cutter, and like this person was very offended by it, so she spent 2 hours chastising me about how offensive I was about downplaying
Making fun of cutters?
Yeah, making fun of cutters, and I'm pretty sure like her kid was a cutter,
oh God.
and it's like I apologized for it eventually.
Yeah.
She still like tore into me. It's like I said something that was bad. It wasn't like I said like her.
So you
anyone,
flying?
Sure.
anyone was
Are
a
you going
cutter. I
back
just
to
said
London
like
and flying back?
what amount
Or
of
you
commitment
get
does it take for me to be a
fly
cutter?
out?
So it wasn't like I was saying like
That's cool.
other people should be cutters.
How many days of
because
practice?
of laws.
It's everything gets so fucking twisted.
Everything's
and you can't-
pretty-
and that's why
Yeah.
like
It's hard to do.
when you're sitting around here
Yeah.
and you're saying it and you can have an immediate reaction.
Yeah.
Like if he says something,
Just one of
and
those
it's
things.
like
I mean, it's
horrible,
Cool to do it.
you can immediately
My
say,
wife's
"Oh
like,
my God,
"Yeah,
that's
so."
fucked up," whatever,
Yeah.
and you can immediately
What are you
talk
doing?
about
You
it.
got any plans?
But on social media, you put it out there.
Dude,
and
My
it
wife's
just
got the-
hangs.
my
It
wife's
just
a
hangs
finance
there.
manager.
It just hangs there, and everyone can go judge it for themselves. Oh, I don't like this or whatever, you know.
All the
And that's the
accommodations,
problem
flights,
is
trains, it's all in a
There's the
spreadsheet.
context
it's all
is lost.
hammered out.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's like if you say with
I
the
keep everything in the
like, or,
spreadsheet.
like,
She'll-
I take
she'll
care
be
of
like-
myself at home all the time.
So,
Mhm.
what do you think of this
So my
list?
wife
I'll be
about
like,
stuff
I think you
that
put
would
enough
like
thought into
definitely
it that I should
cancel me.
search.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's what I
but
think.
it isn't like I
It's cool.
like I just say it just for the shock value.
This woman I work with is going to.
Well, I
Paris
just
in
think
2
I
days.
just think with
And I
Scoop,
was-
I think
and I
it's
sent her a bunch of
funny,
pictures,
and I think it's
that was
it's
like
good
reliving my
content,
time in Paris earlier.
and it gives him a
It's
platform.
really awesome.
And
I'd love to go.
otherwise, no one's going to give him a
This
platform.
trip is
you know, and it's
like
like,
a
well,
lot of
you
sightseeing.
can do your thing here. You
With the
you wanna
idea that when
read
your
your
kids are
erotic
gone,
stories.
we're gonna go
Okay,
places
cool.
and just-
Now somebody might laugh at it,
You know?
but at least you're getting
But
it
we're
out,
going to
right?
Florence
And
and
it isn't like,
Siena
it
and
isn't
Rome.
like everyone's like
We're gone for
looking at him
20
and laughing
days.
at him. They're just like
It's a long
laughing
time.
because it's like
20
it's
days.
hilarious that, like,
Sure.
that the story took a few turns that you didn't expect.
It's
One
like
of
that
those-
the guy that got
I can't wait to see
hired
my
and
bed
canned
home
for
trips.
SNL.
What
Yeah.
airlines are you
Well,
taking?
the jealous guy. Yeah.
He was
I
like
honestly
doing
don't know.
like a ching chong voice and complaining about a waitress.
It's
It's like
I'd probably
that's not
Norwegian
funny.
if you're going.
that's just you
I think
being
it
a
is
fucking
Norwegian.
dick.
Yeah, 'cause
You
you're
know,
doing one
that's
way
not.
to London
That's
and
just
one
you
way
being an
back.
asshole to
Yeah.
someone. It's
They do the
not
one way.
you making a
Like,
clever
yeah.
observation
Typically, you have to
about
go around trip and look
Chinese
around.
people
They
versus
look
white
at
people or whatever.
it.
You know,
There
and
was
if you're
direct
just
to
being a
London
dick and you're just
yeah.
fucking making fun of people
I think
because
that
of the way they
editor-
sound,
Yeah.
that's bullshit, man.
Well, like
That's
one of
cool.
the podcasts I was
I can't wait
one
to
of the
hear
guys
it
talked
back.
about comedians talked about
But it's
how
a
when it comes to comedy, like
there's a really
the
great
great
theater.
ones, what they do
You
is
have
they
a
make fun of
chance at it.
themselves
I mean,
before they make
probably
fun of
a
other people.
Absolutely.
And, like to make yourselves the idiot instead of making other people the idiot.
Yeah, because you can talk about a cultural difference and how you're the moron because you don't understand them, you know, and like you got served something fucking horrible because
And that's
you
like,
didn't
like,
understand. You know what I mean?
Or even like Chappelle when he made fun of his Asian wife.
Yes.
He wasn't making fun of other Asians.
Well,
He was making fun of his Asian wife. He wasn't,
Exactly.
like,
From
going
Sergeant
after like
Pepper's.
someone that he saw on the street.
really
Or like
awesome.
Jeremy Lin, or
Yeah.
you know somebody like that. And the only reason Jeremy Lin came up is because I've been listening to like the heavy like 2012 episodes.
Oh, really?
Well, let's get into that. Let's get into this
Oh,
part.
yeah, let's do that.
Let's get into this. Okay. So let's bring it back.
We're getting back to sports though.
We do. I should probably layer in a read right here.
Well,
Unless-
no, because
no,
he
no.
screams
Yeah,
sports.
it's sports. It's sports. It's
Remember?
just sports. We'll do.
I just got a text. Holy fuck, Scoop is amazing. I'm laughing my ass off and weirdly turned on.
Oh god.
Who did that?
Is that Snyder?
It's a dude. I don't want to say because we're talking about things.
It was erotic. It was really
It
erotic.
was really
Yeah.
erotic.
Like I thought,
Yeah.
Until the guy got killed with a sword.
Yeah.
yeah.
until the guy got killed with a sword, that was
This
that
is-
was
I'm
that was
going
a
there.
problem.
We're doing that.
Nice.
Because Joan,
That's
she's
the
just
most-
like she's just
Yeah.
like
thing there because
he's just eating Joan out, and fucking going for
She
it.
was
You
going
know?
down on him, or he was going down on her. I don't know. Something was going on.
We don't know. Everyone was going down on each other in that.
Penthouse letters.
Oh, okay. I'm ready to go. You ready for sports?
Yeah, I can get ready for sports.
Now we already yelled sports, so we just have to kick it in.
Yeah. Let me just get the levels for you. Sound like decent levels.
Someone got shot and killed like right around the corner from my house yesterday.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where?
Right around the corner
Like right on Colorado or where?
on Monaco.
No, yeah, Monaco. Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I saw the cars backed up, and I thought, oh, it must be an accident. Whatever. Nope, somebody died.
I had a guy on my street this summer, 4th of July, chased someone down the street that was staying at his house and was shooting at them.
Oh God!
And then the cops, then they staged a whole little thing, in front of our yard, and it was good fun. We always have fun around the house.
It's crazy.
Are you guys ready to rock?
Yeah.
Ready to rock this?
You ready?
Ready. Yes!
Sports! Go! Sports! Go!
Erotic story sports! Yeah! 1, 2, 3, 4,
Sports!
Woo!
Sports!
Sports! Yeah!
Sports!
Sports!
Woo! Well, that was some Scoop Neiman segment, wasn't it, boys?
Oh man!
You
I'm
know.
not bothered by that.
It's really good. Did you notice I left? I went and masturbated.
Yeah.
I went and jacked off.
Yeah.
And I
It's not
just
the first time. But
it's not the first time, but this time I was jacking off and thinking about someone killing me with a sword. That's what I.
Where did the sword come from?
I don't know.
Where it's just in
Maybe
the
that was
house.
Saeed was he's a big sword fanatic. I guess he left that part out.
He's one of the sword guys.
He's a big sword
Every one of us has known a sword guy.
Oh, of
He has
course.
a room dedicated for swords.
Oh yeah, he's got his sword room. It's a big house,
The
right?
room is police scanners in as
Yeah.
well.
He's like, wait a minute, Joan. I'm going to go to the sword room right now.
All I'm picturing is Saeed from Lost.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking
Actually,
Saeed from Lost.
to the giant sword.
Wow, good stuff though.
Rocking.
Really good.
It was Michael. Michael was the.
Michael was the gardener, but then he became the housekeeper at some point.
But I thought Saeed was the gardener.
No,
No,
Saeed's
Saeed
the
is-
husband.
He was keeping Joan prisoner.
Come on, Scott, that's
Who went to
racist.
school?
Why would why you took Saeed,
No,
the very
I was
successful
just-
businessman,
I was
Saeed,
very
who's always on the
confused.
road?
So it's Saeed's sword.
Saeed's sword.
He owned a convenience store, a chain of convenience
He
stores.
was traveling around.
And he drove an Uber at night
You had to get started around the garden.
around Aurora.
Yeah, Marcelo's the garden.
Well, yeah, he said, and the gardener, and I went, Miguel.
Marcelo.
And I was like, oh, Michael, what the fuck?
It's the white gardener.
He could have been any ethnicity named Michael, but
Sure.
Sure. Yeah, sure. So we are in the 10th year of the
Which
show.
is funny. I was thinking about this today because the really nice gal at the coffee shop down the street, real sweet gal. I wandered in. I was kind of in a mood. I was having a day. And she's like, so who made you laugh today? I was like, I don't know if I laughed today. It's like, so who's inspired you today? She's like just talking to me. She goes, are you going to make somebody laugh today? I was like, I don't know. I hope so. I've got a podcast. She's like, oh, a podcast. What's your podcast about? It's about sports. And I wanted to say, listen, sister, I've had a podcast since nobody fucking knew what that meant.
No one knew.
And nobody knew. It's like an internet radio show. You'd have to explain. Now everybody has a podcast.
Oh, everybody's got a podcast. Everyone you've ever met has either considered podcasting or has a podcast.
Ooh, how do you guys set that up? And what do you do?
Well, hey, let me tell you, any advice out there, make sure you get some fucking equipment that doesn't go on the fritz every goddamn time.
Do you remember when we had Roberto Montoya in here? From
Yeah.
University
Mhm.
of Colorado.
Yep.
He now has a podcast.
Hispanic Heritage Month.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
way
he's,
ahead of the game. Yeah.
Very, very active
I should go
politically.
listen to it.
It's called Theory Heads. Is his podcast?
He's a very, very smart dude. Had some really good stuff to say. He was a good guest. Yeah, we had a good time with him.
I mean, hell, I even had a podcast for 13 episodes.
Who did?
I did
You did?
back in the day for like
Oh, you had, what was it called?
Untitled Denver.
Yeah, that was a good
Yeah.
podcast. It was almost like an NPR kind of sounding
Well,
thing, right?
Yeah, well, it was kind of a like variety pop culture podcast.
So
one of the hosts talked about sewing up a mitt or like sewing a mitt for like 15 minutes, which didn't really work that well for us, which is probably why we quit doing it.
well, you sometimes you have to power through, which
Yeah.
we've done. Which we've done over there. We just had to power through. But you're right, Colin. There weren't many. The Colorado sports guys thought they were the first, but then all of a sudden they realized we had been probably doing it for 6 months or so.
They never thought they were the first.
They did, yeah.
Really?
They thought they did. They thought they were. And granted, it's a great medium because everybody can do it. If as long as you've got, I mean, you could just sit at your computer at home and fucking do whatever. You can do it on YouTube. You can do it. You can do it iTunes, whatever. It's great because it's the internet in a nutshell. Basically, it's the greatest thing in the world and it's the worst thing in the world because everybody can do it. That's great. Everybody can do it. That's bad. That's fucking terrible because not everybody should be fucking doing it. The thing is, you know, now you see people like doing it, and if you got a little bit of fame, you can actually make some money on it, but it's very hard to do. And I think we've found that over the years, we've had some sponsors here and there, and it's been kind of like, you know, it worked out for a little bit, but
Well, then there are the Bill Burrs of the world who are just crushing it. I mean, he's just fucking crushing it. I don't know if he's actually eclipsed Corolla in downloads, but the Bill Burr podcast is huge.
is it?
He's got guests like Barack Obama and shit like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
he's getting the
That's his
AAA
Chappelle clout.
list.
That's his Chappelle clout right there. That's how he gets those guests. So being on Chappelle show and all that.
Bill Burr was on the Chappelle show.
Yeah,
I
sure.
didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. He was, I believe he was on.
Oh yeah, he was on the Chappelle.
He was on
show,
the
yeah.
famous the skit with the World Series of Dice. If you remember the World
Yes,
Series
yes.
of Dice,
He was the
one of the
announcer.
announcers. Yes,
Ashley
yes.
Larry.
Yeah, Ashley Larry. I love Ashley Larry. Well, listen, we'll get too far off topic talking about Chappelle. But 10-year anniversary, we have Marcelo in here, and we just thought maybe Marcelo could remind us of some key moments, and we could chime in on them. You got some for us?
Yeah, I mean, a key moment for me though, you know, was the Denver Diatribe, which was the podcast
Yeah.
that kind of led all the podcasts I listened to back then was from the Denver Diatribe because they had you on the show on an episode, so that kind of like was like my gateway to get to South.
And I think that was at Colorado Open Media where we met them and used an actual like studio. It's really fancy.
We did that separately because I did a separate one with them.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had him on later, and if you recall, South Stands was just named the best podcast in the Westward, and I opened the whole show with "We Are the Champions."
Ah,
You remember
nice,
that
yeah.
whole thing? And,
Yeah.
and
Um,
immediately,
Ron's a really good guy, and he still
Yeah.
does tons of
Yeah.
stuff around Denver. Yeah, and
everywhere.
yep, that was some good stuff. That was a nice crossover. We don't do that too much anymore because, you know, who else is out there? Jeff Morton, come
Yeah, give it a break.
Shit show of an amateur hour.
on. That's exactly it. What else you got?
Well, one of the other things was Chrissy Becks. Like
Oh,
before meeting Chrissy Becks, and then running into Chrissy Becks at a Rockies event, and then having her on the show, and also that brought up the what is it, that phrase, decanting, which I never knew before, and I can't forget now. So
you can't forget now. Decanting, if you don't remember, we went into the detail. That was when I had that shit story a little earlier, and actually I have another one too. I want to tell. I don't think I've ever told this other one too. Decanting is when you take you take a catheter and you put it up your wiener, and you take like a thing of wine, and you squeeze a big thing of wine up into your bladder, and then I would hold it for a second, and then I would decant the wine into Colin's mouth, and Colin would take a big old drink of wine from my bladder, and that was decanting. Yeah, and then I think we also talked about sounding too. Remember sounding?
Yeah, the glass stick.
You take you take a stainless steel rod, and you shove it up your cock, and then someone taps it different times.
That's actually a thing, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh God, yeah. I'm sure there's someone listening. They're sounding right now.
Mike Peterson.
Mike Pierce
leaning back in his chair.
He's
beard
leaning,
and twitching.
leaning back in his chair and dong, dong. Let it.
Oh, Reedy. Oh, Reedy.
Okay. What else?
And then I listened to about 30 old episodes for the past week and a half, and you had a pretty good run of 4 episodes where you had Robin Carlin on,
Oh yeah.
and then Adam Kane Holland,
Yeah.
and then Brandon Spano,
Wow.
and Vic Lombardi.
Yeah, that's a pretty good stretch right there.
Yeah.
It's a good stretch. That's before we alienated everyone and we got people on the show.
I remember when Adam was on, we remember the power went out.
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the
first
place.
time, yeah.
So he came, and then we're all hanging out. We're like, sorry, no power. And he, crazy enough, came back. the
He
next day.
came back.
We
I
were
thought
like,
this
that
dude's
was it.
not coming back.
There's
He's
no way.
fucking long gone.
Yeah.
I would have been long gone. I would have been like, sorry guys, I'm fucking busy.
I missed that old studio. We were sitting around basically a gorilla rack,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
All the
we were
poo.
much closer together.
There's so much poo everywhere.
Yeah,
Rapid, the mouse
Mouse,
food, yeah.
It was great. This
So much
place
good.
is much. This place is much cleaner.
Yeah, you'd lift up the server for the computer.
Remember we had a Joel Klatz in that studio.
Oh, that's right. He's
With
a
the mouse poo,
germaphobe.
Yeah, and mouse poo everywhere.
We had
Joel Klatt's probably, if you think about it, Joel Klatt's the biggest star that we've had.
He's definitely
now,
pretty
'cause
big.
He's fucking on Fox NFL.
Yeah, he does like college
He's
football
well,
stuff.
he's big time.
Yeah.
He's big
Yeah.
time. Now, Lauren Gardner's big time for sure, but she's not as big time as Klatt. And what's his fucking name? We used to do the show with Kisla in the morning. Peter Burns.
Peter Burns.
He's
SEC.
big time,
Yep.
but he's not as big time as Klatt. I mean,
Klatt's on national.
Klatt is
stuff,
a
yeah.
fucking he's like, I think he's even a bigger stud than Schlereth right now.
Klatt was really good, and I remember we used to make fun
He was
of
a
him.
great
He was a
guest.
great guest, and he
Broncos.
and we asked him why he said Broncos all the time. He grew up here. He's a
Yeah,
fucking Colorado native. He said Broncos. Like, didn't ever fucking got it. He's like, oh, that's just how I say it. And I was like, this is not the answer I was looking for.
He was definitely a way better guest than I thought he was
Yeah,
going to be.
absolutely.
Because we used to antagonize each other on Twitter. And, it's interesting what a role Twitter has played in the whole thing. For the last entire decade, I don't think we could have done this without it.
No, how would you contact people?
Well, I mean, it's about building a community. Like all of you guys have built a community of people that follow the fan cast.
Sure.
You have the fantasy. You have the 2 leagues going on for fantasy football. I don't really see that with other podcasts where they really have that sense of bonding over
Twitter
what you-
Twitter has built it up, and now Twitter's torn it down. if you know what I mean.
Very
I'm not looking at Colin or anything, but
But the whole thing is, you like back then, you actually interacted with everybody that listened to the podcast, and that's what a lot of there are other podcasts that are out there that they had a Twitter account, but they didn't do anything with their listeners.
Well, I remember I used to use the tagline, the South Stand Denver Fancast, where we talk about you.
that's
And we did. We'd mention, and we would have people in who are just Twitter personalities, which is, we're doing it again tonight with Marcelo.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you mentioned Chrissy Becks, and Chrissy
Yeah.
Becks on, I don't know, she had like fucking 10,000 followers.
We had so many fucking downloads of that
Oh,
show
yeah.
because people wanted to know who she was.
People
Which,
fucking, yeah.
That same thing with Lauren Anders, LA Baby. We had LA Baby, and people fucking downloaded the shit out of that. They wanted to know what she sounded like, who she was. Brooke Hale, same way.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you'll probably get at least 5 more downloads from me tonight.
That's right.
Probably so.
For those 5 extra.
I mean,
They,
well,
I'll
you've
take
got
it.
you're
I'll take
Mexican. You have a lot of cousins.
Well, I have a lot of cousins who don't really listen to podcasts.
that's right.
Well, get them on it.
Thanks for bringing that extra 5 people.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Maybe
So.
maybe 6.
Remember,
Maybe you could get it put on KBNO or whatever. Is it KBN? Which is the Broncos are numero uno station.
I mean, if I didn't get blocked by everyone defending their owner, I probably would have more followers on there. I've been Kiz and Soysher. So.
I always loved it when Spano came in, like way back when, because he was on the same time as we did the podcast. So he would leave his own show, to go on our show, and he would get a replacement just so he could come on our show.
Spano,
That's
and
pretty cool.
And I
He
think if
did
you
that.
took all the Spano appearances, you could see you could watch the maturation of Spano because
Yeah.
he was a fucking
He was a fucking loser.
He was a maniac.
Total loser.
And then like last time he's been on, he's all very
It's like,
like,
well,
he's all the synergy of the corporate environment for and I'm like,
we
dude,
feel like we've got a good team. We're
Who
all
are you?
shooting upstream in the same direction, working together. And
wait a minute, aren't you the same guy that stood over here and just like fucking grunted and like flexed and screamed about Les Shapiro? You're the same guy.
Yeah, I think so.
And I mean, let's not forget Cecil Lammy, who's been kind of an original and a guest time after time after time. Always so generous with his time, and just such a huge talent. I still love the Audible as much as he comes on the Fan. And I enjoy listening to Cecil on the Fan, especially that Wednesday night fantasy show. It's just great.
Yeah,
But
that's his wheelhouse.
That's his wheelhouse, and he doesn't want to admit that. He doesn't want that to be the case.
Yeah.
Cecil wants to be an NFL guy, not a fantasy guy, and I respect that. But God, that is his wheelhouse.
Yeah,
he's so good, and he interacts with callers so well. He's got that down like nobody's business. And when you got a thing, you got a thing, and Cecil's got a thing. And he's always been a great guest for us, along with, of course, the great Reno.
Yeah, I was going to mention Reno. He was
Absolutely.
he's been on more than anyone, and Jeff Martin too. I think those 2 guys have been on the most, right?
Jeff's been on quite a bit. Kreckman's was
Kreckman's
on
been
quite
on
a bit, but not
like
as
3
much
or
as
4
those guys.
times.
What's
well,
the
Kreckman came on with that one time with Hawkman, right?
Well, and Lindsey
Yeah,
Jones.
Benjamin Hockman.
Hawk-
Yeah,
He came
that-
with
that
Hawkman.
was-
He came
Hawk-
out,
every time Hawkman,
Jonah Carey too. They came. Right?
that was Hawkman. That was just Hawkman.
Oh, just
I think,
Hawkman.
Yeah.
You deleted the Jonah Carey episode.
No, I did not. No, I did not. That one's still out there somewhere, but yeah, and that was probably another pretty famous person that was on at one point. But no, all good folks, and there was always, it was always a good. I don't think there was too many like really bad shows. I think there's been some where maybe we had to mind.
Well, there was one.
Well,
the Roller Girls.
I wasn't here for that.
I know, but it
That
was
one was
horrible.
terrible.
That was horrible.
And there was also a woman, a young gal, and I still follow her on Twitter to this day, but who was an Avalanche prospect fan, like a minor league hockey fan.
Yeah, I know. What you're talking about.
That one trudged along.
That one trudged because it was early on, and I don't think that she was really geared towards
Interesting.
talking. Well, she just wasn't geared towards talking and like offering anything. And we had a few of those along the way, but
What other highlights you got there, bud?
A lot of enemies being made over the years.
We've had our few.
a lot
Les
of,
Shapiro among them, but
a
now
lot of paid fake followers over the years.
that was a thing. That was a thing for sure. But my fake followers did not come from Soysher. My fake followers came from
Dino Costa.
Dino Costa.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure I even got the backlash from that for fake followers. I got Soysher over the years. I'm pretty sure that Soysher was the one.
It was
who got
weird.
me.
It was weird. He had it was a weird thing where if you criticized him, all of a sudden followers would pop up. So I don't know if it was somebody doing it on his behalf or what, but he was not. There was something to that. Yeah.
And then there's an infamous DMAC episode where
That's
some,
probably the all-time greatest.
where some things were taken out of the episode that we'll never know about.
Well,
Oh, they're back.
no, I think I posted it in its entirety.
Oh, you did?
I came up one time and it was like 5 years since it had been, and I was like, oh shit, I'll just put this up because who gives a fuck now? Al's long gone from the fan, and that was interesting because he went off on Les Shapiro. I mean, nothing too bad. I think Spano gave it to him worse at another point. But
no. And D-Bag said he's the worst human being I've ever known, or something like that. It's
Okay,
like
maybe.
something super grandiose. It's like, oh my god.
Well, and then as the story goes, all of a sudden Colin gets a call the next day and he's like, "Hey man, can you take
Hey, you
some?"
got to help me out, dude. And Al's agent got a hold of this. Speaking of losing co-hosts for DMAC, and not to change the subject at all because I want to finish this, but man, Tom Nayland's fucking leaving now, and I've been listening to that show lately, and it's just rolling. It's just rolling.
Sounds
It
great.
turned out great. The Nayland DMAC thing turned out great. There's a really fucking a stroke of genius on the part of the station. It works out really good now. Nayland's leaving, so DMAC's going to get another host. But what else? you got?
Another good guest, Tom Nayland. He was on
Oh
twice.
yeah, twice. That was really good.
I tried to get him on actually this week, and he's just too busy. He's just got too much going
I
on.
understand.
Someone said you were stuck with me.
I was
That's right.
stuck with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I forgot about like the segments like Joey Applebutt or I forgot about.
You did not want to know how I got this smartphone into the prison.
By the way, that picture that Colin
Yeah.
picked of that kid in prison, whenever Colin texts me, that's what pops up. Joey.
So we're like, who's
What's
that?
happening,
Who the
Joey?
fuck is that calling you?
Joey Applebutter is a big Denver sports fan who's gay and loves being raped in prison, which is where he is. And he has a smartphone, and you don't want to know how he got
See
it.
now, that's an example of he just
Yeah.
said that, and you get the context. We laugh.
Yeah.
Now, if he typed that out,
Yeah.
people would be like, "You can't joke about that." You know what I mean? It's all context.
And then, of
Joey-
course, came
Joey
from,
actually had a chance to go on parole, and he turned it down.
he enjoys the raping.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I understand.
and that was kind of born out of the whole syrup or jelly thing. That,
Yes, it was.
That Remy brought up.
Yes, it was. That is
The
what
very
it is.
first
60
time
minutes.
Reno came on, he brought up the syrup and jelly thing.
Yeah, and I wasn't. I was just a mere friend and a listener at that point in time. And I'm driving through Canyon City, surrounded by prisons, when you guys were talking about that. It was
Well,
It was
and
pretty
I
cool.
wasn't there for that episode either.
yeah, you were. Yeah, you
There
were.
was one where you had Reno on, and I was in Minneapolis at the time, and I listened to it. I was dying. Fucking.
Well, it was funny about Reno because he showed I was doing that show that he did with Eric Goodman, and I just kind of was like, I told Colin, I said, I think I'm going to ask them if they want to come do this show. And I said, hey, and you guys want to come do this podcast we do anytime? And Reno was like, fuck yeah. Eric Goodman was like, I don't know He kind of like, and I was like, okay, you can fuck off.
But Eric has been on.
He
Yeah,
has been on.
and he
Yeah.
was great. I thought
He
it was
was
great.
a good
when he
show.
was.
That's a
Yeah.
good show.
It was awesome.
I should have probably went through some.
I'll
of
tell you
his-
what. Every time I accidentally listen to Les Shapiro and Eric Goodman, I go, "This is actually a pretty good
Oh,
podcast."
these guys are good. They're pros. They're pros.
Yeah,
You know,
total
it's good.
pros.
Cool. Well, give a couple more, and then we'll take a quick break, and then we'll wrap it up.
Well, I mean, Raider joke.
Oh my God, I have one.
Oh,
No.
I forgot I have one.
No.
Yes, I do. I have one.
let's
I
do it. You
All right.
got miracles to queue up.
Well, we'll do it after the break.
Okay,
But
we'll do it after the break,
I
but
have
it's
one.
good-
I
it's
totally
good you
forgot I
brought it
had one.
But there were just so many different segments, and the thing, like I said earlier, was that I appreciate a lot is just when you guys talk about the history of Denver, like what was going on with like the scene, like
Sure.
going out like after hours and stuff. Because
Rock Island.
yeah,
Well, we always talk about this part of Broadway
Harris on the plaque.
was just a fucking
This
ghost
was
town.
this part of Broadway was the gay part of
It was
town.
very gay, but that's the best place to go because you could go and play pinball in the lesbian bars, and which was the Three Kings, which I think was the Three Kings at the time. And, There was the Three Queens then.
Three Queens.
And now it's the Three Kings. And yeah, people didn't give a shit. You come in, play some pinball, you get all high beforehand and go play pinball and drink some beer. Nobody gave a shit. It was great. It was good times. Quite a difference. Yes. And that's, I think that's probably the difference with a lot of these things. If anyone has, I don't know, people have podcasts about Denver. I don't know if they even do that are younger. Everyone's probably older because all us old people like to sit around and talk about, well, I remember South Broadway when it was this. You know what I'm saying?
At least it's become something though. You know what
No,
I mean?
I love it. It's
Yeah,
great.
I do too.
That's the whole thing. I think it's still a net positive. I think because if you remember it back in like 1995, it was a fucking ghost town.
Yeah,
and there's
a lot of
just
parts of town.
and you could come down here and you'd go, man, wouldn't this be cool if this was like a place where you could go, blah blah blah. And now it is.
Yeah,
It's
like the
great.
coolest thing in the mid '90s was
Dude,
like the 16th Street Mall.
Oh,
And
God, that
was
Right around the first
That was
weekend
it.
of August, I had a big event I went to at Larimer Lounge. I hadn't been to Larimer Lounge in forever. And that entire strip
It's
up
crazy.
there, it was nuts. I mean, there was giant nightlife. There was cruising.
Disneyland for adults.
There was
It's
there were
awesome.
cars everywhere,
And-
fancy cars, loud music, taco trucks. I was like, I mean, the Larimer
Taco
Lounge,
trucks on every corner.
if only.
just like he said. But it was like when you went to the Larimer Lounge,
like
10
20
years ago.
Yeah, 20 years ago.
you were in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Well,
I
it
know.
was very dark and it was very like
So we mentioned 15th Street Tavern earlier, right? So that the guy who did Scott Campbell. Do you guys know Scott? Do you know
I
Scott?
know. I saw him this summer.
Oh,
I
cool.
saw him.
Yeah. So he was the one booking at the 15th Street
Yeah.
Tavern. I remember when he was like saying, "Hey, I'm starting my new club," and he told me
Yep.
where it was, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm not going." You know? Like, well, I mean, it was a totally different place back at that time,
Oh yeah.
and like no one hung out.
The only
Like,
thing
you
that was
know,
going on up there was raves.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You get the secret
Warehouse
address on Larimer Street.
Raves and
Yeah.
crimes.
Yeah.
Raves and crimes. Nothing going on up there. So
Yeah.
let's take a quick break and we'll get back and do. If there's anything else we want to bring up, we can do it. But let's take a quick.
I do.
one.
Yeah, I really have. I can't believe I've been sitting on the stupid Raiders.
Oh yeah, and we'll do another little quick segment and we'll finish it up. But until then, we'll take a quick break. Be right back.
So yeah, you do Juggalo Raiders fan, and
With miracles, get miracles.
then I want to talk about altitude, and that should take us out.
And I'll just never go back. What they did-
Patrick Saunders wrote a really interesting story today. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, because I got HBO's not ever coming back to Dish.
What's that?
I said HBO's never coming back to Dish.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
not.
No, because the negotiations were ugly.
Hmm.
Well, because what AT&T did is that they gave out the free lifetime subscription for HBO
Yeah.
for free to new people.
Uh-huh.
And what they're trying to do is have all the other cable companies offset that by having them increase the fee, like through Dish. So the whole Dish has been really telling them, you know what, just sign up for HBO now and
Yeah.
pay $15 because that's the same amount you would pay for HBO if you sign up with us. So just do that.
What's that? Are you talking about
HBO and Cinemax and all that.
Oh, okay. They're talking about Altitude, maybe.
Oh, I'm sure that's gonna happen with Altitude too, because like I don't know what the hell's going on with the negotiations on the Dish side.
It's not even on Comcast. You can't even get it. You can't even pay more to get it. So
And
stupid.
it would be nice if we were on Sling, but Sling can't. It's difficult for Sling to negotiate for those because they're paired with the Dish. So Dish and Sling are joined at the hip for negotiations. So
you guys know that Bob Dylan's coming to town like next month?
I heard that. But that's a really expensive ticket.
Yeah. I saw it. I don't know. I should have just grabbed a ticket. But I didn't.
So he owns that building, Larimer Lounge.
Yeah.
Yeah, he owns it, and that thing is fucking. That is a nice piece of real
But when he
estate.
was doing that, I'm just like, no, you're crazy. You know?
Yeah, I hung out with him earlier in the summer because he goes to my pool.
Oh, nice. I haven't. It's been a long time since I used to go see those shows. He used to book all those shows. You know, he was a guy that was out and about when I was out and about.
I see all of you around about in this area when I was like stuck in the north side trying not to get shot as a teenager. I mean, plus I was a schoolboy, so it wasn't like I really did that much to like sneak out and stuff. But
It was quite a time then, but still, I always just thought, oh, I wish this could be better. I wish this could be like a a hit place. And
now you
It's
have
too
that-
hip now.
now
you have
I'm too old to enjoy it.
now you have that with the e-scooters.
Yeah.
everywhere. Those goddamn e-scooters, they're pissing me off every time I see one.
Love them.
Because they piss me off because it's like, oh, I'm on the sidewalk. It's like, you're not, don't try to run me down. I'm already dealing with bike people. Just walking around Camp Hill.
Yeah.
And see, like, they're talking about dive bars. Like, I'm sure dive bars in the 90s were very different from dive bars to now. Like, Don's Club, that's not a dive bar. That's like a hipster joint.
That's a hipster place.
Where kids can't hold their alcohol. Last time I was there, like these two kids were like in their 20s. They would like fall down drunk by like 7 p.m. It's like, where'd you learn how to like drink?
Probably in the like early 2000s. We're talking probably 01, 02, and Bar was a thing. You know where Bar is? Bar kind of happened, and that place was like you'd see some you'd be hanging out and some crack hose would square off.
Don't think twice. It's all right.
And I don't know what it's like now, but I
So
bet
you
that's more of like a hipster place now, But that was a rough fucking place back then. A lot of those places were like that.
That's probably my favorite.
But like all the places with questionable bathrooms are all gone practically.
Yeah.
So,
This would be a better outro music as opposed to intro music.
Sure.
That was what I was.
I agree with you.
Are we ready to bring it
So I
back?
think I'm going to go with. I was like this one.
I love him more and more with each passing day, Scott.
He's coming.
Yeah, I don't want to see him.
You know?
No.
I'm not going either. But.
Yeah, he's not going to be good anymore.
Who, Bob Dylan?
Yeah.
It's one of those things, I've never seen him. So
I don't want to see him be bad.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Well, he's always.
I
been
hope
bad.
No, he's not bad. He'll be really good.
No, I don't think so. Like his shows are horrible. Like he has like 1 out of 10 shows are good.
I hold him
I-
in such high esteem, and I've heard he's terrible. But I mean, I worship the fucking ground. he
You
walks on.
need to get. So here's I was digging into his kind of 80s catalog, and oh god, what the fuck's it called? And I came across this album because I heard this song on satellite radio, and I was like, that's a fucking great song. And I looked it up, and it's on this one album of his, and it's like kind of like maybe like early 80s, and it's phenomenal. And then I listened to the one after it, and I was like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
It fucking sucks.
Those albums are
But
totally hit and miss.
The reason why the one was really good was all covers. He was doing covers, and they were all like old like folk songs, and it's fucking awesome. I have to think of the name of it. It's called shit. I can't think.
Well,
Dude, I had a moment. This is a true story. We were off the Isle of not Capri, another Italian island. Starts with an S. Sardinia.
Gabagool.
We were outside of Sardinia, and we were in the water, in the ocean, on this rocky beach, and the lyrics from Tambourine Man started coming through my head. With one hand to be beneath a diamond sky with one hand waving free,
this would
silhouetted
be
by the
this would be
sea.
a great podcast.
It's just,
right
oh
here,
God, it
is,
tore
right
me
here.
up.
Yeah.
tore me up.
Okay, it's right. You guys ready to rock this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you ready to go?
Yeah. Well, you're gonna do a read, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay. You ready?
Everybody needs to sign up for footballguys.com. You're only 2 weeks into the fantasy season, and the $25 or $30 it would cost you to use their amazing system, their amazing tools, and their amazing rankings. I mean, it's done wonders for me. I'm 0-2 in 3 of my leagues and 1-1 in the other. So I'm proof that footballguys.com works. I'm just kidding. You don't want to look at my outcomes. You want to think about yours, and you want to think about Lineup Dominator and all of the ranking tools available to you. $30, man. Tell them the South Stand sent you. It's footballguys.com, a sponsor of the podcast since time immemorial.
I had the wrong pot up. Here we go.
I
I changed it, Colin. In honor of Denver
Admit
and our
that the
podcast.
waters
And time's
around
changing.
you have grown and then accepted that first obedience to the bone. Time to you is worth saving. You'll sink like a stone, for the times they are changing.
So no one wants to go to the show next month, huh?
That's gonna be like fucking $300.
Well, it is now.
Yeah.
If you didn't buy it then. All shows are like $300 now, it seems like. It's a problem with shows.
Are you guys pumped up for this Ween Green Day fucking? It's Ween Green Day and who?
Ween's not playing with Green Day. But Ween
Oh,
is
no,
coming up
Weezer.
on nights.
Weezer's
Weezer, Green
Yeah.
Day, and
Yeah.
Not into that at all. Although Rick Ocasek produced Weezer's first album,
Yeah.
as well as Bad Brains, Rock for Life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
I
produced
didn't know
it.
that.
Yep.
Was unaware.
Great fucking album.
I'll be going to 3 nights of Ween, though, at the end of October.
I bet you
Excited.
will. Yeah.
Excited for that.
please heed the call.
Um,
And in the doorways, don't block up the hall.
so many beautiful Dylan songs.
I like that guy.
It's great.
He's one of those guys that could go at any time. You know?
Raging.
Maybe he's probably in his 70s, right? He's got
Yeah.
to be in his 70s.
The times they aren't a changing.
Yeah, it was
For
good
the
stuff.
Broncos,
Yeah, I get like a good buzz on. I start listening to Dylan.
I'll
later
start
on.
just crying.
Yeah,
I'll start crying.
but it's.
No, he makes me cry. Neil Young makes me cry too.
Oh, I love Neil Young.
I'm
I'm even bigger Neil Young fan.
yeah, Neil Young makes me cry all the time. God, the Broncos are going to be bad for a long time.
They are. Before
God, this sucks.
while you're talking about bad teams, I just want to mention the Rockies real quick. And that was such a flame out. And I was so bummed because I really thought they were going to be good. And I was just so dejected. And it's funny because I follow
They started out super shitty, and then it started looking like, oh,
and they just got
they're right in the
super shitty.
shit.
But there's so many people I follow and that I converse with, nice folks on Twitter, and I see them, talking about the Rockies, and I'm just like, I'm out. I can't dedicate any time to this. There's no fucking way. I'm like, I could just go. We could go watch a fucking movie with my kid instead of watching the goddamn Rockies.
I had a brief moment of sudden interest when I realized that they had a chance of having the worst record in franchise history.
Yeah, that was a little
And I was
interesting.
like, okay, win 5 games. And then they won 5 games, so they covered that.
Well, that's what makes it interesting. And I want to say last season I was totally out on the Broncos until they almost beat the Chiefs in that game, and they fucking blew it because Vance Joseph was a fucking moron. And I was so upset. I was so pissed off. And this is the first time I've been like pissed off in a long time at like a Bronco game or like any sort of like a sporting event. And I was so mad, and I just was like, fuck this. Oh, fuck these guys. And I was so pissed. I just wanted to beat the Chiefs once just to fucking stick it to them, but they couldn't even do that.
No. Hey, you guys remember this too? The Rockies, like a week before the All-Star game, they were in a playoff spot.
They were a wild card spot, yeah.
To have it sink so dramatically
That was terrible. So
over a 2-month stretch.
You had
Incredible.
you had that Padres series, and then that Dodgers series where a rookie walked them off 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
They had a different rookie,
Yeah.
each of 3 nights walked them off. First time in Major League Baseball history. Which with 100 and however many years, it's pretty hard to have something happen for the first time in Major League Baseball history.
I understand why pitchers don't want to come here, but I can't understand why they can't find a GM that wouldn't want to wade in with some of those players and go, hey, I can make this work. I think that's
Speaking of making it work in fantasy managers, I'm on the cusp of a title.
Oh,
in fantasy baseball. And I lead it. I led 7-5 before the show started. It's touch and go all the way. And you fellas, I want you to know, I want this.
I know you do.
I want this. I want this title. I started out in 8th place and I clawed my way back. No, I was in 10th place. I clawed my way back and I worked the waiver wire and I worked the waiver wire and I had some things break my way. I had a guy, Encarcerone or Edwin, whatever his name is, gets traded to the Yankees, just goes nuts. And I've had things go my way and I wanted to finish my way.
I can't believe I didn't win this year.
I'm really shocked you didn't. But you know what? Listen, if you don't win, that means I got to send the trophy to Chicago, and I don't want that to happen. So
if I don't win, my heart's gonna.
Let's just do it.
You're
last
up
weekend,
7-5. So you're
I know I'm up 7-5. Last weekend, I left for Moab, Utah. Well, no, this is 2 weekends ago. And when I left town on Thursday, I was down 10 categories to 2. And it's just
so you just set your lineup because you didn't.
I was in a canyon in the middle of fucking nowhere. I went into Moab City on Sunday morning and checked my fucking thing, and I was leading 9-7 at the time, or 9-.
Yeah,
and it ended up being 7-5.
I lost. I had a.
Well, it's almost fantasy hockey season, so I've left baseball in the rear view. I'm ready to continue with football. I'm ready for fantasy hockey.
So, are you prepared to not be able to watch hockey?
Yeah, I'm okay with it because I'll probably, if I want to listen on the radio or something like that, it'll be available to me. And honestly, I don't watch a lot of stuff anyway. I just get the updates.
Well, I watch a lot of Nuggets, and I'm telling you right now, if you work at Comcast and you happen to be listening to this podcast, I'm leaving. If October 20th rolls around and the Denver Nuggets are not on TV, I will cancel my Comcast that day.
You should.
I am gone because one of the only things that keeps me paying fucking $300 a month for that bullshit service, or $270 or whatever it is regional sports networks. And so I'm really upset about the whole altitude thing. But I did see something today that got me a little bit optimistic, and that was that Patrick Saunders wrote in the Denver Post that right now Sinclair Broadcasting is in the market to buy all of the remaining AT&T Sportsnet outlets, and that it would be possible for them to purchase AT&T Sportsnet Rocky Mountain, merge it with Altitude, and buy a percentage of Altitude, so that we would, and it only makes sense to have the Rockies, Avalanche, and Nuggets on the same network. That would give them very strong broadcasting base year-round. They wouldn't have Heartland Poker fucking Tour and dumb college fucking Utah college sports on. So that is optimistic, but these things take time. And the problem is right now, the Avalanche are already in the preseason. I believe they played their second preseason game tonight. And the Nuggets are right around the corner. So by the time I get back from this trip I've got going on, I'll know whether or not I'm able to watch the Nuggets on TV. And I am going to watch the Nuggets. But I realized something the other day, which is that if I take and extrapolate what I'm spending for my Comcast, which I only pay for because of regional sports programming, I could buy tickets to games.
Oh, absolutely.
I could be there. And I like to be at Nuggets games. So I don't know how this is going to shake out, but I think it is the biggest sports story in the Denver market right now. It's certainly a bigger story than the Broncos, certainly a bigger story than the Rockies. What's going to happen to Altitude? Because there are a lot of people who are affected by this, not just the on-air personalities, your Mark Mosers and your Vic Lombardis and Katie Wingy and all these other great people, but also the people who are behind the cameras and in the studio and mixing the sound and all of those kinds of things. And then there's the radio side, and the rumor has it right now, what I'm hearing is that the radio stations are for sale. That includes Cool 105, Magic FM, and Altitude, and that Kroenke
It's
Sports,
not Magic FM.
yeah, Magic FM, better ratings than you would
I'm
ever
sure.
have imagined, because they're in office buildings.
Yeah.
So those 3 stations are valuable. They belong to Kroenke Sports Enterprises, and from what I've been told by 2 sources, one national, one local, is that those stations are for sale. So as much as I enjoy the Altitude product, I'm bracing myself for being without it. But let's hope there's an out. And one thing that Altitude has been broadcasting out there, don't block my Avalanche, don't block my Nuggets. They are the ones blocking those broadcasts right now. If you're a Colorado Rapids fan, you should be pissed, because it's not DirecTV, Dish Network, and Comcast that are refusing to accept their free signal. They're withholding the signal until negotiations are completed, which makes perfect sense. But then they advertise, don't block my Avalanche. That's not fucking accurate. What's accurate is they're withholding the Avalanche right now because they don't have a deal.
Sure, but they're doing that because they're not getting the deal that they want.
If they gave a fuck about the fans, and which is what they're trying to tell you,
Yeah.
and they want you to support them, then you support me and let that broadcast be on TV while you negotiate.
Trust me, they don't have the leverage, and it'll come and they'll basically say, okay, you don't
They have
wanna,
no leverage.
you don't want to play ball with us. Okay, we're just going to keep it off. So what'll happen is they'll either decide, okay, let's just do this until we can figure something else out. They're gonna fold. They'll put it on. You're gonna be able to see it.
As far as something else, what's this? You'll know. What's the Amazon deal? So they're looking at Amazon Prime, perhaps doing it?
Possibly. That's not going to happen though, because the leagues have a vested interest in not allowing that to happen because they all have their own streaming services. So it's a huge conflict right now between the leagues, the regional sports networks, the cable providers, and the internet companies. And I'm not optimistic that we're going to get a streaming option. I think
it's
there's
not
almost
gonna
no way it's going to happen because it would compete directly with NHL Center Ice and NBA
TV,
League Pass,
whatever it is,
NBA League Pass. So it sucks, man. And my fucking Comcast is so goddamn fucking expensive.
It is.
If the Nugget season starts, I turn on the TV, they're not there. I'm going to be fucking pissed.
Well,
Well-
won't they be somewhere though? Like even at 18?
No, not necessarily. You would think the leagues would make sure they're somewhere, but time is fucking ticking. So the seasons can and probably will start without a broadcast partnership.
I mean, can it be on NBA TV though? Or
No, because NBA
It's blacked
TV will
out.
block it out locally.
Yeah, it's
And
fucking-
so will NHL Center Ice.
It'll get resolved, and Altitude, Kroenke will have to bite the bullet.
Altitude's going to have to capitulate if they want to stay on board. And what that means is becoming part of a sports tier that you have to pay for. And I'm already paying a whole lot of money.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
And I mean, all of it's ugly anyway. Like takedowns are always bad. I mean, you see that with sometimes with like the local channels.
Channel 9 had this happen a few years
Yeah,
ago.
in this, like
They were fighting with DirecTV,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and all these companies have like because they negotiate, they kind of push things to the limit. Like AMC does that. And so it's a very fragile thing because sometimes they're trying to get like the most and not lose a lot or like viewership. But then like you have HBO and Dish where it's probably not going to come back because it's like from Dish, but there's different reasons for that.
You got billionaires arguing
Yeah.
with billionaires, and the rest of
Yeah.
us get stuck in the middle.
Well, I think it'll get resolved. But you know what? If it doesn't, it's a good reason to cut the cord and do something different, which I would love to do. It'd be fantastic.
Read Patrick Saunders' article from today about the TV situation. That was really interesting. The one last thing I had on my
Yeah, let's
list
get out of here.
things,
'Cause I
is,
gotta
I wanted
put
to-
this on wax, and I'm fading out.
I wanted to say, I saw you yawning.
I know. Sorry, I
and
usually
it's
don't yawn,
late.
but
It is
it's
late. I wanted to send my heartfelt condolences to Ryan Edwards. He had a tilt in our South Stands Denver.
I was like, oh god,
fantasy
somebody
league.
died.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
what
his
the fuck?
parents were both killed in a fiery plane crash.
I was like, what happened to
Um,
Ryan?
Yeah, it's too bad. No, he had one of the best fantasy contests I've ever watched in real time. He and Craig Kennickett went back and forth this week, and because Ryan, Matt Ryan knelt down at the very last play
Oh, nice.
of the Monday night game, he lost by 0.02 points. It was like 149.60 to 149.62.
What would he need him to throw a pass? I mean, what is just
It,
one
it
pass?
counted as a sack.
Oh.
So he lost by 0.02, 2/10 of a point to Craig Kennickett. And Kennickett had Patrick Mahomes.
Oh.
So he had survived Mahomes. He was on his way to an unlikely victory. And then because of one kneel down, which counts as a sack,
That's a bitch.
he lost by 2/10.
That's bullshit. Counts as a
Oh, it's
sack.
horrible.
I lost a championship Sunday night game. Sunday night game. This is for the championship. I had the Cowboys kicker. And I'm forgetting this guy's name at this point in time. All he had to do is make the field goal and I win. And he dunked it off and I lost.
That sucks.
Just champion.
Rest in peace, Ryan. We'll miss you.
But it's so great though, like having those games where you lose by or win by like less than a point.
Oh yeah, I won.
It's very stressful,
I-
but it's fun.
I won the first week from a Will Lutz field goal. He kicked it at the end of the game to win it, and I won just because
I wasn't
of that.
paying attention, but I took you by like 0.2 or
I
something.
know because I know, and I was like, all a fucking Crowder needed to do was catch one more pass, and it was fucking.
Was there even a pass his way? Did he drop one? But what? I
He didn't. No, he didn't get thrown to until the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden they threw him a bunch of times, but just not enough. So that's fantasy for you. It's a bitch.
It is.
Good times.
Yeah, it's good time.
Good times.
Well, let's get out of here. It's good stuff. Marcelo, thanks for coming in.
Well, thanks for having me.
Appreciate you taking us down memory lane a little bit. So it was good stuff. We appreciate your support over the years. It's good. It's good to have you as a fan.
I'm going to come back for the next 10 years.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
20 years, 20
Oh,
years.
that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Sure will.
But
We've
no,
got-
it's
we've
good
gone
stuff.
this long.
I already
Thank
put
you.
myself in for that. So
He's Guy Incognito on Twitter. You might have blocked him already.
yeah,
Maybe it might
so many people in that.
have been the case. So
It's like,
if you
no
haven't-
more crows. I can't take the
Yeah,
crows.
come for the crow takes, stay for the dick pics.
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Well, good times, fellas. It's good seeing everybody. It's good to sit here and talk with everyone. And until next time, adios. This a cover too?
No.
We love you, Denver! Yeah!
Although Built to Spill covers this in concert.
Oh, this is
They
Halo
yeah.
Wars. It's the guitar tone. Makes me think. Okay, I'm gonna turn this off.
Calvin and Doug.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
I didn't even think of La Llorona, which is probably the whitest thing I say.
What's that?
I said I
See you
didn't think
next
of La
time.
Llorona, which is the whitest way to pronounce La Llorona possible. Since it's La Llorona Awareness Month.